Now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about projection mapping. Has anyone ever dealt with projection mapping at all, or you've probably seen a lot of sports teams are using really cool opening, projection on their courts, and it's kind of something that's relevant to their team's mascot. Something flies out of the ground. This here behind me is the Olympic 2024 bid that we did, and we used projection mapping in an interesting way. We actually had 8K projectors just like these, 3 balconies up, shooting on mirrors straight down onto the floor. That's a custom-made screen surface stage that he was able to walk around on and do his presentation. That's kind of projection mapping to correct a problem, not to be creative. This is sort of an example of being creative. This is content that wasn't produced specifically for that shape screen. That was actually a screen that we made up here in the shop using foam core and duct tape.
Wait, don't give away the secrets.
Come on.
That was 3D
it wasn't
built.
It wasn't duct tape. It was gaff tape. But and the cool thing about this was, we were given a bunch of content from the client, and we were able to make it work with these shapes through various geometry correction procedures. And it turns out to this kind of cool thing that looks like it was designed together with the media, when in the reality was we saw the media kind of on site and played with it and made it work. I can't remember what's next. Is it the big one?
It's a surprise.
It is a surprise. Oh, this one, right. So this incorporates both the main stage and a couple of pieces on the sides. They're all mapped using 6 projectors, I think.
Yeah, and then there's 4 separate screens, so to speak.
This content was specifically created. In fact, all of this was thought out and created by the end client, so they knew what they were getting into. They knew the shapes that they were gonna have to work with. And in fact, you can't really see it right now, but in the middle there were a couple of odd-looking shapes. And throughout the night, that eventually shapes were brought out, and it was built into what was ultimately a table for their award show. And so each time they brought some new pieces out, some more content was coming out onto it. So it was a pretty cool effect. And that's an example of these things being worked on simultaneously and what you can get out of it. All right, this is Alan's cool thing. He did this. It looks amazing. This is projection mapping, incorporating both the set pieces and the main screen. So as you can see, these screens here, they're all, they can all be controlled. Media can be put on all of them. Another cool Alan thing, this was the Boston Public Library this holiday season. We did the projection for it, and there was content that was, again, specifically created for the building. Alan suffered, and he was very cold, but it looks amazing.
It was pretty horrible.
So those are a lot of the different things you can do with mapping, and it's just a nice technique. It plays with geometry. It can allow you to do more creative things with your set, more creative things with your media, and we actually have an example of mapping right here on this box that you saw earlier. We can make a Rubik's Cube, which is fairly straightforward. And this was a video that Alan found that had nothing to do with this box. This was not created for this. It was found today. And we were able to, I also like to mention, this is a single projector. This is one projector whose output has been split into 3 different surfaces, which is also pretty cool. So you can do a lot with the right software and a little bit of good hardware.
Yeah. So, we found that mapping, we're able to use it in many ways. I mean, you can do something small like this that ends up in the lobby of an event, or it can be the Boston Public Library. Obviously, you need different size projectors. You need a different amount of pre-production. Some things, like with the cube, if you give us some content, we can map the cube in an hour and have it showing your stuff. But if you want something like the library, then it needs a lot of work going into it. Also, outdoor events, those projectors were very large. This is a 10K projector here. The projectors on the library were triple stacked 40Ks, so there was three 40K projectors per side of the. We split. It was a blend actually on the library.
And that's something else to consider. That was obviously not a surface that's designed to be projected on.